Hello friends, we've been working out here in the garden today and I had to do some chicken maintenance, and part of the chicken maintenance is making sure that they have food and water and that they're happy and healthy. And part of their happy and healthiness is making sure that I check their beaks. This is Grace. Grace is a Polish. She is a black lace Polish. She has a little beard up front here, and some of the Polish have a problem with keeping their top beak short so they can pick up grain, and sometimes that they can keep it, they'll drag it on like a rock, or yeah, it gets like this hook if it gets too long. Anyway, her beak looks good, but just looking at her toenails, now if you don't do anything with their nails, or if they're in a softer run, they don't always get to work it out on gravel and stuff, and they start getting long toenails, and their toenails will start curling, which makes it difficult for them to sit on their perch. Yeah, doesn't it? And so, easiest way to take care of their nails, you can either use dog trimmers, which is just a docker. You just open it up and then clip them off. Is that what we're doing? Yeah. And or we use just a adult size toenail clipper, because their nails are fairly small, kind of like what you would use for either like a cat or a chicken. And so that she's able to actually get up on the perch and hold on instead of having her nails curl. This is why we do the toenail maintenance. And there's a couple of the girls in there that it's been a couple, it's probably been about a month since I've done them. Oh, yeah. We don't always like that either. For the most part, she'll let me do it, but she gets a little anxious. I don't blame her. So I'm just going to move to the dog trimmers, because it makes it easier. And if you don't get to them in time, sometimes they'll actually just fall off or get ripped off, depending on, you know.
So on chickens, do they also have quicks like the cats and dogs do, where you have to watch where you're cutting so you're not making them bleed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do. They actually do have quicks, and you do have to be very careful. Most of the time, your chicken's nails will be white. So you can kind of, yeah, see, she doesn't want to do it right. So I don't, when she starts getting a little anxious, I stop and give her a little rest and just kind of pet her. And she calms down a little bit. Yeah, all right. And then she'll think about something else, and then we'll go back to it, because I'm not going to force her and get her to a point where she doesn't want to do it. But most of our chickens have been held a lot, and so they're very tame. But with the Polish, you know, I lift up their little plumes up at the top to make sure that their eyes look healthy. They don't look like they've got any kind of issues or accidentally have any injuries, because that can happen too in the coop. But she's just curious about everything going on. But we're almost done with her, so we'll have to move on to the next one. But this one is a black lace Polish chicken, and her name is Grace, and she is such a sweet girl, and she lays white eggs, and they're about a small to a medium. And we've had her, what, going on almost 3 years?
Almost 3 years now,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, you're 3 years old, and you're doing so good. Yes. So anyway, I will finish up with her, and then go ahead and move on to the next one, and I'll show you the next one. Okay, so back again with another one. This one is a phoenix chicken. Now, these girls haven't been handled as much. We got them from a friend, and when they have like all their feathers before they start molting, they get these beautiful long tail feathers. And she's got a nice set of tail feathers, but they can even plume over the top. But these girls, they're kind of a smaller chicken. They're even smaller than the Polish. The girls are actually, they lay small to medium-sized cream-colored eggs. And pause.
Hold on a minute. I'll be right back. Go.
So these are what she was laying today. These are the size of eggs that this tiny little girl can lay. They're anywhere from a small to a medium size, and they're cream colored. And they almost have like a slight gloss to the top of them, unlike our other chickens that we have Cochin, and they lay a medium to large brown egg. And then the Polish girls, they lay the medium to small white eggs. And sometimes they can be rather large too. It all depends on the girl, on the bird. But she also has a nail issue. Now, looking at hers are actually brown nails. And so I have to be very careful to judge where I'm actually going to trim them. I'm not going to trim them probably as dramatically as I did with Grace. But Luna is going to get her nails trimmed just slightly so she fits on the roosting bar better. And they're a really nice tame bird as well. Now when they get hot like what it is today is a scorcher. And they'll open up their mouths and they pant almost like a dog would. Their little tongue goes up and down, and they keep their mouth open like that when they're hot, and it helps cool them down. Oh, see? Aren't you a beauty? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're just a beauty. We'll get you some watermelon after this, huh? Yeah. And they like watermelon. And we've got some watermelon inside that we didn't really get to right away. So it's not the greatest anymore, but they love it. They will eat it up clear to the rind. Anyway, we'll go back to nail trimming. I know, I feel the same way. And so I just took the tip off of it. I didn't want to go too far in, and I'm kind of judging by how she curls her little feet around me, if she would be able to hold on to like the roosting bar. Like the center one seems to be, yes I know, seems to be longer. I know, honey, hold on. And I'm just going to snip the tip off of them. Might just do the sides a little bit too. Just take a very little bit of it. That way they don't start turning in, and she's able to, I know it, I know. So we'll take a break and we'll get back with another one. And now we're back with Lovey. Lovey is a white crested Polish. So she also lays medium white eggs. Her body is completely black, and then she has this white headdress here. She also has a slight beard, but we also do a little check on Lovey and make sure that her eyes look clear and no one's been picking on her. Sometimes we've had problems in the past. She's a real mild bird, and every now and then we get one that will pick on her, and they like to pull the feathers out of the top of her hair or head, the white feathers, and we're not sure why, but then we just kind of separate them and things seem to go back to normal and her little feathers come back. But anyway, we just got done doing Lovey's nails. She needed to have hers done. But she is the one that constantly needs help with her beak. If you can actually see that, she has one where the beak comes over. And what we do is take a toenail trimmers and snip the toenail, or snip her little beak back to where it kind of meets where the bottom half comes up, just so she can pick up grain. Otherwise, if we left it like that, she would have a lot of problems and she would probably lose a lot of weight, because she would be able to eat just as much as what the others do to keep them healthy. So what I like to do with her, once she cooperates a little bit, give her a little chance to sit with me for a few minutes. Yes. And just kind of keep her calm for a moment. Then I will go ahead and turn her over. I like to keep her feathers together like this. And then when I turn her over, she doesn't always cooperate, but I'll keep her feathers together, and then I hold her on her back. Yeah. Sometimes it works out well, sometimes it doesn't, but I try to hold her as close to me as I can because I don't want her moving around while I'm trying to trim her beak. Now, for the most part, she'll just lay back and I'll just pet her a little bit so she knows that I'm not gonna do anything. There we go. So then I will take the trimmers and just snip it a little at a time because I don't want to take off too much. I may have to move her head just a little slightly so I can see better. But if you look under here, you can kind of see where the beak comes out too far. And I want to make it kind of rounded at the same time, kind of like you would do your own toenails. Now, I stop when she starts moving around a little bit because I do not want to mess up and permanently hurt her in any way. Not that you would, because this would grow back, but it would be a while before it did. And that could cause an issue if you actually cut it too short. Okay. I want to make sure that there's not really too many pointy edges either. There we go. Okay. Okay, calm down, calm down. It's all right, sweetheart. Calm down. Right now. So I'll hold her feathers so she don't hurt herself. And now that we've trimmed it back, I mean, it's still a little long, but not as long as it was, so she'll be able to pick up grain, and she should be fine. Yes, poor thing. So anyway, this is Lovey. Like I said, she's a Polish, and she is a sweetheart. Yes. She's so loving. She'll come up to you in the coop too. Like, you can be the first, she'll be the first one to the door if you open up the coop in the mornings to put the food in the bowl. She doesn't really care about if you're putting the food in. She just wants to have you pet her. And they usually, when you pet them, they'll squat down. And all of them do it. So I'm not quite sure why. So if any of you know why they do this, please leave a comment. But I will introduce you to one of our other birds. Oh, she's sleeping.
Go.
So this is Prudence. Prudence is also a black lace Polish. and she's a year younger than Grace. And she is just as much of a sweetheart. The Polish are like real laid back birds. They're not real high maintenance other than, like I said, the toenails, and every once in a while you may have to trim back their beaks, but it looks like Prudence doesn't need it. But she does need her nails done. So we will go ahead and take care of that while we're sitting here. And as you can see, these birds are pretty calm. Every once in a while, they like to, well, we like that, like to fly up, because they don't really have a good footing. Yeah, I suppose on the slick pants. We just go ahead and trim the nails. And these are really nice because they're white nails, so I can see them. I can see where the quick is. Okay, calm down, sweetheart. We don't need to continue. We can just wait. Yeah, you get our little wings moved out. There we go. There we go. Let's check your eyes. Those are pretty brown ones, aren't they? And you can see their little eyes underneath. And you check just to make sure that everything looks good, like there's no injuries, and they're completely clear. And just by lifting up their little headdress. Yeah. And her beak looks really good. Yes. And her toenails, for the most part. Looks like I might have to trim one more. I'll let her hold on to my hand. And if you don't get their toenails trimmed, that they can have them tore off too. And sometimes sometimes they come back, and sometimes they don't. But this is what we do on our day off, don't we? We do chicken maintenance. Besides the garden and everything else. Yeah. Such a pretty girl. Yes, you are. So, I'm going to put her away. I know they say that you shouldn't have favorites, but sometimes you do. And as much as I love them all, this has to be like my fave. This is Hope. Now she is so laid back, and she is such a pet. She will sit on your lap forever and let you pet her like a cat. I mean, it's just sick. But she lately has been very broody. And if you don't know what that means that even though they're not her eggs, if anybody lays eggs, she is the first one to go sit back down on them and try to hatch them out. And even though we don't have a rooster and the eggs are not being fertilized, she doesn't know that. She just thinks that she wants to be a mother and sit on those eggs. So lately we have had to push her out of the nesting box so we can gather the eggs and try to get her to walk around so she doesn't get sick from just staying in the coop all day long on these eggs. But looking at her feet, she's going to need some toenail maintenance done too. Now, Hope is a cochin, and they're hardy, nice, big, chunky, hardy birds, and they have feather on their feet. And she was kind of a runt when we first got her. She was one of the smaller ones of the first group that we got for the chickens, and so I had to care for her more frequently than the other ones. And after that, I don't know. what can I say? You care for them constantly, they end up being your favorites. So, anyway, and she's such a nice chicken, I can't help it. But let's get to her toenails and get her done. She'll just wrap her little toenails around me, or her little feet around me while we do this. She has like a couple nails that are dark, so I kind of judge based on her other toenails that are white on where the cut, you know, even though she's pulling the foot back. There we go. And where's the other little toenail? And the other little toenail's hiding over here underneath the feathers. Oops, sorry, baby. Yep. She wants to check out what I'm doing too. But this is what I mean. You know, some chickens, they'll fight you. She doesn't. Not at all. No, because you're such a good girl. Yeah.
And what's her name again?
Her name is Hope. And we named all our chickens after virtues in the garden. Okay. Besides saying that our chickens were named virtues of the garden, I'm not sure what virtues of the garden there was. We named them after virtues. It wasn't like in the Garden of Eden. No. Okay. So anyway, we'll get back to the other side here. Yeah, if you'll let me. Let's see. Okay, so hence, this looks like a toenail that I didn't get to. And this is what happens. Their toenails will break off and they'll end up with a smaller nub than the rest of them. And that can be a problem too when they're trying to perch. So this is why you want to make sure that you try to do your chickens' nails unless they're actually on gravel or on cement run. Because sometimes being in a soft run, they do not have the chance to wear down their nails. Because they're not able to, you know, unless they're out free ranging, being able to scratch up whatever. Let's try to get that. There we go. And we'll, I know. And we have another one that looks like her, which is, okay, stop. Okay, this is Patience. This is one that has at some point fallen victim to a chicken bully, which we have removed from our coop. And the rest of them seem to be recovering nicely. Anyway.
And when she says removed from our coop, she was not culled. She was found, another family
Yes.
was found for her.
Yes.
And she is being well taken care of there also.
Yeah, because we just needed her to maybe go into a situation where they had bigger birds, not so small of ones that are as calm. She was also a cochin, but she, for whatever reason, decided she wanted to pick on all of them. And some of them are big enough birds where they could hold their own. However, Patience wasn't. And so she ended up having a couple of her head feathers plucked. As you can see, her plume above is not as big. But her eyes are good. Her nails need a little bit of a trimming. She doesn't have the, oh, look at that, you're such a pretty girl. Yes, you are. She doesn't have the beak issue that poor Lovey does. But she also has a nice little beard up front. And she's a very curious girl. So sometimes that can set the other girls off too. But for the most part, you know, they all tolerate her, even though she's more of a high-strung Polish. but one of them just would not. I mean, it didn't matter if she was in a whole nother section of the yard, like when we let them free range in the grass and you know, pull weeds and ooh, hello, and find bugs and everything. Calm down, sweetheart. Anyway, um, but she wouldn't let her be, so we ended up finding her a new home, and she's a much happier chicken now, and so is Patience now that she isn't being bullied. Bullying can also, not just having your head feathers plucked off, can also be, okay, calm down, it's okay, can have your tail feathers plucked as well. As you can see back here, she did have a slight um, a slight wound back here, and we've put medication on it, and we've been keeping an eye on the girls really well, and we haven't had any more issues. So that's what bullying looks like sometimes. I mean, the girls are definitely hens, and they're not always the nicest, but for the most part, the group that we have right now are very easy to get along with each other. So should we get your nails done? Oh, should we get your nails done? Pretty girl. Good girl. You're such a good girl.
She seems to be enjoying the attention. She's pretty calm right now.
Yeah. She's such a good girl anyway.
She is a good girl.
She's just a little higher strung than the rest of them, aren't you? It can happen. Anyway. Yes, I do talk to my chickens. I can't help it. They're just like all the other animals that I talk to when I'm taking care of them. I mean, they say that chickens can recognize voices, and even though they have small little tiny brains, they can like recognize voices and people. So, but she seems to be very good with other people too. So it's just not us. So beautiful. So anyway, we'll put her back and get one of the others. Okay, this is Faith. Now Faith, even as a small little tiny chick, has always had, as she was growing her comb has laid over, but it hasn't hindered her eyesight in any way or anything else. But for whatever reason, her comb likes to lay to the side. Earlier on in the wintertime, you have to also check your chickens, because we have a couple weeks that we had some 0 and sub-zero temps here in the Midwest, and a couple of their combs from them going out in the run was affected by frostbite. So she had a little bit on the tip of one, and everything has healed up since. But, you know, these are things that you have to deal with when you're dealing with extreme temperatures too. I mean, just like when, like when you also have extreme temperatures for the heat, you know, giving them some ice water or giving them some cold fresh fruit will also, you know, is a nice treat for them. Whoa. She's like, stop. Anyway. I will do her nails as well. She has black nails, so I'll be very gentle and very careful with her. But she is also a cochin, so therefore she has these feathers over the top of her feet. And she's a very nice bird too. Aren't you, baby? Yeah. And the black cochins are really pretty because this is some of the things I do like. Is that they have this beautiful black or green sheen in their black feathers that are on their wings. And I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but she's a gorgeous bird, aren't you? You're a gorgeous girl. Yes. Oop, oop. Ah, I know. So we will trim your nails as well and get those taken care of.
One nice thing I like about Faith with her comb that lays over is it makes it easier for me to identify between her and Hope, because they're both black Cochins of about the same size even. So with the laying over comb, it makes it easier for me to know who's who.
Nope. But I think we could tell anyway, because their personality.
Oh yeah, their personality sticks out.
Because as much as the Cochins being as calm as they are, we have another Cochin. Well, we actually have a couple more Cochins. They are partridge Cochins. And the partridge Cochins and just that breed itself, they're a calm breed. Really good with people, good with kids, good with our grandson. So, but you can tell she's hot also.
Yep.
Just by the way she keeps her mouth open. And it is extremely hot out here today.
There is a nice little breeze going through, but it's not making much of a difference.
No, unless you're...
Yeah, see how she opens her mouth there, and
Yep.
the tongue is just laying there kind of clicking, bringing in the air, cool air.
Yep.
So we will put her back in the coop and grab a couple of more.
Okay.
Be right back.
Okay, so this is Cherry. She is a partridge Cochin. She also has a little bit of feathers on her feet. And she has a red headdress. And then it turns into a brown and black. And then it goes into a black and gray down below. But yeah. We have two of them in there. One's an older gal named Alice. And this one's about, what, 2-3 years old?
Charity is 3 years old, I believe.
Yeah, and she is a good girl too, aren't you? But
Charity is one of the original groups.
yep, and she loves dandelion leaves because they're full of calcium. Yes, they are. Yep, just chomps those away. Would you like any more? Would you like any more? No? Okay. So anyway, let's see your feet. There's a couple nails that I could trim up a little bit. Hers, she seems to keep those down pretty good, don't you? Yes. Those feathers get in the way of seeing them, so you gotta kind of push them through the side. The other. Okay. Can I see your other foot? Put your other foot down. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so Charity, like I said, is a Cochin. She lays brown eggs, and they're medium to large. She's one of the... I want to say she's only 2. because she came with the second bunch.
Oh, she was the second bunch?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's just a little younger, aren't you? Just a little younger. But she's also a very nice bird too. She would love to get down and free range, as you can tell. Yes, I bet. And she's very verbal.
Very verbal.
Yes. Like if she doesn't care for what you're doing, isn't that right? If she doesn't care for what you're doing, she's very loud and she will let you know. Where the other ones, they tolerate you a lot more. Maybe it's the red hair. I don't know. Kind of like me, huh? Anyway. I know. It's amazing how much you can get, how close you can get to these chickens. And they allow you to do whatever. Exactly. Just like that. But anyway, I will let you guys go. And this was a nice little afternoon with you on showing you how to groom your chicken. Yeah. Anyway, please like and subscribe if you would like to see more content, and ring the bell, and that way it'll let you know when we have the next video out. And
Good night.
good night.